The moment I pulled into the driveway of my late grandmother Clara's lake house, I knew trouble was waiting. My beat-up Jeep was still idling when Olivia Hart emerged from the azaleas like a predator, clutching a clipboard and a laser measuring device. Her blonde bob was razor-sharp, her cat-eye glasses glinting with judgment. She was the HOA president, and she'd already decided I was a threat to her perfect neighborhood. Before I could even cut the engine, she was measuring my grass with a ruler app, screeching that it was 5.1 inches 0.12 tall, a $500 fine. She dialed 911 with the speed of a seasoned tyrant, reporting a dangerous intruder causing ecological havoc at 567 Willow Lane. I sat there, stunned, as she rattled off violations, excessive bird chirping, unauthorized wildlife attraction, and somehow, my breathing was too loud. Clara's last words echoed in my head. "This place holds my life's memories, Ethan. Keep it safe." I had no idea how dark those memories would turn out to be. Officer Daniels arrived, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. He dealt with Olivia's nonsense before her third 911 call that week. I showed him the deed proving I'd inherited the property, but Olivia wasn't fazed. She whipped out a protractor, declared my mailbox 2.3 degrees off kilter, and accused me of disruptive respiratory patterns. Then she pulled out a high-end camera, snapping photos of my tires, 23.6 inches from the curb, not 24, with rulers for scale. Her harassment was an art form, complete with GPS coordinates and timestamps. Daniels gave me a look that said, "You're on your own, kid," and I tried to defuse things. "I'm just here to clean out my grandmother's house," I said, keeping my voice steady. Olivia's response? She measured my voice's decibel level and fined me for exceeding conversational norms. Desperate to get started, I popped my trunk to grab cleaning supplies. Boxes of old tax records and photo albums spilled out, but one item, a heavy wooden box Clara had mentioned in her will, rattled as it hit the driveway. Olivia, mid-rant about grass regulations, froze. Her face drained of color, her ruler trembling in midair. "Where did you get that?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. I opened the box, and my stomach dropped. Inside were dozens of house keys, each labeled with an address and evicted in Olivia's meticulous handwriting. There were personal items, Turing's, family photos, a child's stuffed bear. It looked like a serial killer's trophy collection. Beneath it all, a manila folder labeled "Pending Evictions" listed my address, right below Clara's, crossed out in red ink. Olivia stammered, "Those are maintenance records," but her eyes betrayed her. Daniel stepped in, his tone sharp. "Ma'am, step back." For the first time, Olivia's measuring tape hit the ground. The next morning, 17 violation notices were shoved under my door, $250 for overly vibrant lawn hue, $175 for a doormat 0.4 inches off-center, $350 for unauthorized cardinal activity. Olivia had escalated to a new level of insanity. She rolled up in what I dubbed the tyrant wagon, a golf cart decked out with a megaphone, 360-degree cameras, and a mobile measuring station. She parked at my property line, blasting, "Subject under surveillance for safety violations." I called my old friend Noah, a cybersecurity whiz, and begged him to help me decode the box's secrets. He arrived that afternoon, shaking his head at Olivia's operation. "This is unhinged," he muttered, watching her measure my mailbox flag's height with a tiny ruler. Inside, we spread the box's contents across the kitchen table. The keys were the most chilling, each tied to a family that had moved mysteriously: the Garcias, the Wilsons, the Parkers. Noah found a notebook in Olivia's handwriting, a blueprint for psychological warfare. Phase 1. Fake violations like grass height or mailbox tilt. Phase 2. Daily inspections and community pressure. Phase 3. Personal attacks, job interference, credit sabotage, social ostracism. Phase 4. Collect trophies when families fled. The Garcias lasted 5 months, the Wilsons, 7. A section on resistance management detailed retaliation. The Hendersons faced an IRS audit after filing complaints. The Thompsons were smeared as criminals. One entry, blacked out, mentioned a final solution, and Clara W. consulted. My grandmother hadn't just been a victim, she'd been fighting back. That evening, my neighbor Harold, a 74-year-old retired librarian, knocked on my door, trembling. "I've seen Olivia ruin lives," he whispered. "She picks a family, makes their life hell, and they flee. The keys, the items she keeps them like prizes. He handed me a letter from Clara, dated 2 weeks before her death. Ethan, Olivia Hart is a monster. The box holds proof of her crimes. Don't let her win. Noah's laptop revealed more. A hidden compartment in the box contained Clara's medical records, phone logs, and surveillance photos of her routines. Olivia hadn't just harassed my grandmother, stalked her. A chilling correlation emerged. Every family that resisted Olivia was linked to Clara, who'd been secretly helping them with legal advice and evidence. Olivia had caught on, and Clara paid the price. Olivia's campaign intensified. She installed security cameras aimed at my house and broadcasted non-compliance alerts via megaphone. She reported me to my employer, claiming I ran a chemical lab, dish soap, and window cleaner. My boss suspended me pending investigation. She filed police reports for suspicious coffee drinking and blocked my driveway with biohazard cones. A neighbor whispered to me, terrified, "Olivia's on the scholarship committee. If I speak out, my son loses his college fund." Olivia's power stretched beyond the HOA, controlled the school board, local businesses, even credit agencies. She built an empire of fear. Noah's analysis of the box's hidden compartment painted a grim picture. Olivia had psychological profiles on every family, exploiting vulnerabilities like cancer diagnoses or special needs children. Her notes on Clara were meticulous. When she watered plants, checked mail, walked by the lake. Photos showed Clara meeting families, labeled "Neutralize the Warren Threat." The final entry, 3 days before Clara's death, read, "Problem solved. Property cleared." Clara hadn't died naturally, she'd been murdered. Noah found a recording device Clara had hidden. Olivia's voice, cold and clear, discussed permanent solutions with a disguised voice. "The Warren woman's a liability," Olivia said. "Her investigation threatens everything." The reply, "Make it clean. Make it natural. Show them what happens to resistors." Olivia called an emergency HOA meeting, billing it as a code-red security crisis. She invited 200 residents, police, and a news crew, promising to expose a domestic terrorist. Her presentation, Threat Assessment, Ethan Warren, was a masterclass in slander, with charts of my escalating violations and fake psychiatric reports labeling me unstable. I arrived mid-speech, and Olivia dialed 911. Demanding my arrest for breaching an imaginary restraining order. When I requested 5 minutes to speak, her confidence wavered. My presentation was simple, photos of the trophy keys, each labeled with a family's address. The room went silent as residents recognized their old neighbors. "These families didn't move," I said. "They were driven out." Noah projected security footage of Olivia in her garage, labeling keys including one with my address, marked "Future Acquisition." Harold stood, his voice shaking. I watched Olivia destroy 15 families over 6 years. Good people, broken by her obsession. Others joined, sharing stories of harassment. The crowd's fear turned to fury. Olivia screamed, "They deserved it. Weak families don't belong here." Swinging her measuring tape like a weapon, she tripped over her own cones, her empire crumbling. But as Daniels cuffed her, she shrieked a name, "Harold." The room froze. Harold, the kindly librarian who'd given me Clara's letter, was the mastermind. He played the supportive neighbor while orchestrating a gentrification scheme with Olivia. His basement held records of millions in profits from forced sales. Harold targeted valuable properties. Olivia executed the harassment. Shell companies bought homes cheap and resold them at premiums. Clara's murder was Harold's plan. Her exhumation revealed poison. The recording's disguised voice was his. He'd planned it all, using Olivia as his pawn. Federal investigators linked Harold to a nationwide network of corrupt HOAs targeting high-value properties. He and Olivia faced charges of conspiracy, fraud, extortion, and murder. The HOA was overhauled, violations voided, and Olivia's equipment destroyed publicly. Families returned, and the neighborhood healed. I kept my lawn at 5.0 inches, Olivia's ruler on my mantle as a reminder. But at a community barbecue, the new HOA president, a recent arrival, wore a measuring tape as a belt. Her smile wasn't warm, it was calculating. Some monsters never die. They just find new faces.